It's been a Myrtle Beach landmark since 1945, the Gay Dolphin. We'll talk to its owner-operator, Buz Plyler, coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on an amazing landmark in Myrtle Beach since 1945, the Gay Dolphin. And we're visiting with Buz Plyler. Good morning, Buz.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Oh, it's good to be here.
Incredible opportunity to think about not only the Gay Dolphin, but your life and so many activities that you and your family have been involved in the greater Myrtle Beach area and so many other places that we look forward to hearing a little bit about for so many years. Real quick about yourself, you grew up entirely in Myrtle Beach?
I did.
Always in the Gay Dolphin?
Well, I grew up in the building, yeah. It was the center of Myrtle Beach at that time.
When you think about Myrtle Beach, and I'm so glad you brought a couple pictures to share today, when we think about the history of Myrtle Beach, just thinking about so many aspects of the what's now Ocean Boulevard, of course, has always been there, but 17 Business, Kings Highway, 17 Bypass. We want to talk a little bit about that transition, but first, Ocean Boulevard, what was it like when you were growing up?
Well, the biggest change between now and then is Labor Day. You could shoot a cannon down the Ocean Boulevard and you wouldn't hit anybody. It was an amazing switch that would flip. And you just didn't see people down there for 9 months out of the year. But in the summertime, it was very intense. People came from everywhere, and we were packed. It was a lot of fun. It was probably the most fun place in the state, for the whole summer.
You still have family in the area, Buz?
My mother still lives above the store there, and my son Hank lives in Myrtle Beach and works at the store.
And you live in Myrtle? You don't live in the store anymore?
No, I don't live in the store anymore. I'm living at Pine Lakes and Merle's Inlet, and it's nice to have that break, but I spend an awful lot of time down there.
I'm sure. Absolutely. And thank you so much for coming over this morning. Obviously, you'll be heading back from here to the store. How did you come by your nickname, Buz?
I had a very high energy level, and Dad did as well. It was a natural nickname.
I mentioned early on that landmark kicked off, or Myrtle Beach Gay Dolphin, 1945. When did the store was opened in 1945? Was there an inspiration for your father? He had activity in specialty items prior to opening the store?
They had a little store called Camel City Grocery on Ocean Boulevard. When he came back from World War II, he had been in Boston and Miami and Chicago and seen other people's retail operations and brought back ideas. And they opened up a little 10 by 10 foot store next to our shooting gallery on the boardwalk in, and it grew every year. He would make it a little larger, and by 1954 he had a good sized store, and Hurricane Hazel came in and destroyed everything that we owned at that time. He started over again with a much larger store, used that opportunity to make a big expansion, and he put in a good-sized amusement park next door to the store, and we had that traffic from the amusement park. It was a perfect formula for the period of time that we were in Myrtle Beach.
An amusement park. The pavilion was not there at the time.
The pavilion was there, and the pavilion had rides, yes, and that gave us that much more for people to come to.
Right. Absolutely. So the traffic, what are some examples of some of the amusements that really stick out in your mind growing up? You have maybe a top three.
Well, for us, the Wild Mouse was the kingpin of our amusement park. We had a one-car roller coaster, and it was made by a guy named Ben Schiff in Germany, and it was the most exciting small coaster ever made, really. There's one similar to it over at the Pavilion Park now, and it put us on the map. The Big Eli wheel was another one. We had an old guy that could actually hang from the Ferris wheel by his feet. So, and that put on quite a show, and it was important to have free shows that would draw traffic back then or any time. And We had a big whip, but I think that probably the scooter cars, the Dodgems, were the next big ride that we secured that made the amusement park successful.
It's impossible to name just the top three. There's so many more. I mean, it must be amazing when you think about.
You needed something new every year, and that's true today as it was then in whatever you're doing, and it's kind of the key concept in our store.
And the great aspect, you use the word free, Buzz. The aspect of all around you now. All around you are specialty locations for folks to pay to get in. And you continue to maintain that free show aspect for folks who come down to visit.
We try to be entertaining. We know that the people that come down here on vacation, they're looking for places to go and spend their time, and they've got children. They've spent a lot of money, and it is important for us to get a traffic flow. We try to have something new every year that they haven't seen before, they can joke about and enjoy.
Did I see somewhere, Buzz, that y'all had a guy who lived underground or in the sand for a couple of weeks or months?
Digger Odell. He was a world champion flagpole sitter back in the 20s. There were a lot of guys like this that would do anything to get publicity and to make a buck. And Digger Odell came in the early 50s, middle 50s, and we buried him alive, 6 feet under. Put a chimney in to drop him food down, and people would pay $0.25 to come in and see him down there. And we made a big deal out of digging him up at the end of the summer and on Labor Day to bring him back up again.
Absolutely. And how was he fed, you said? You would
drop a sandwich down the chute.
Amazing. How exciting when you think about the aspect. What was it like growing up surrounded by such a vast array of souvenir items, trinkets?
Every year it was something different. And very often there would be new markets opening up. One year the Philippines might be open to us, and the South Islands below Cebu have beautiful seashells. And the natives there make wind chimes or shell baskets to decorate for weddings. They use it to create a festive atmosphere between the grass huts. Mm-hmm. And we bring in the shell chimes, and it'd be a big hit. And the story goes along with it. People get a bang out of hearing about these faraway places, and there was something like that every year.
Who would make most of the trips, Buzz, to collect or resell these purchases? These items.
Dad loved to travel, and he always took me with him wherever we went. I went everywhere that they went, Mom and Dad, and it was we had the time in the winter time. It was a great way to learn how other resorts were successful and how other merchants made success. It was the best part of my childhood was the travel.
Do you have brothers and sisters, Buzz?
I had a sister, Kay. She passed away 15 years ago. She was active in the store and contributed a lot to our operation. She was a very social person, beautiful girl, and we miss her.
I'm sorry. Were you allowed to play in the store growing up?
Sure. Yeah, that was free entertainment for me. And there was, like I say, something new all the time. And I was fascinated with the seashells, and they turned it over to me as quickly as they could. I was 8 years old when I started running the carpet golf outside. I started working in the carpet golf. Somebody quit, and we needed to fill in. And I worked there, and then an archery range and a baseball batter cage. And I was in the store by the time I was 10, and the seashells, I had an interest in it, so they let me carry in the conch shells and fill up the shells all day long. It's something that it still takes a lot of physical work to keep it up.
Yeah, Buzz, you have vivid memories of this. You can picture that, the carpet golf at age 8. I mean, can you picture these things well?
Very well, yeah. Very vivid memories, and I think, that Myrtle Beach was a fun place to live. The people were all having the best times of their lives, and we were sharing that with them. And it was the summer was exciting, and we were doing things a little boy would like. Developing amusement parks, shooting galleries, batting cages. So we had an old gypsy fortune teller. It was all fun and interesting, and I remember it super well. I went down and tried to find the old gypsy fortune teller in Florida, and we didn't have any success, but I think she's still around.
Well, it's the amazing thing. There's two aspects. I sure want to talk to how you were able to interact with other kids your age. That's one, but Was there anything similar to the Gay Dolphin when you were growing up on the Strand?
Not on the Strand, but in every East Coast resort, there was an old resort general store. It might have been Newell's or Reddick's in Wrightsville Beach, or Alvin's in Panama City, Irene's in New Jersey, in Atlantic City. And we would go to these places. And the people that had sons, their lives were very much like mine. They might not have had the amusement aspect in all cases, but our lives were very similar. And I have friendships with these people still today.
Yeah, Buzz, I think about the aspect of you and your sister growing up, interacting with other kids who obviously didn't live on a daily basis. Of course, this was 3 or 4 months out of the year. But to be able to talk about the thrill during the school year of what happened for you in the summertime, were you the center of everything?
No, a lot of people had businesses, and their children were much more likely to work in them back in the 50s. And I looked at Thompson, Greek boy growing up Southern, his book, and his life was so much like mine, it's eerie. Yeah, very, very similar. And the business that he was in was a restaurant, but its similarities are just a complete parallel. And for anybody who wants to know what Myrtle Beach was like in that time frame, his book is a super resource of information. And it's funny, but a lot of what he says, there's a lot of lessons, a lot of life lessons in the book, and almost everything that happened to him happened to me.
That's a great hint for viewers. The title of that book again?
Greek Boy Growing Up Southern, Dino Thompson.
And that can be picked up at some of his places as well as Barnes & Noble?
Barnes & Noble has it, and Dino continues to run restaurants at the Flamingo Grill and Cagney.
Buzz, you must have been approached by folks saying, you've got to put this down in print. You've got to do something with this. This is amazing.
Dad was a wonderful resource of information about Myrtle Beach in the early days, and I wish that he had put it down. And I mentioned it every year, and I tried to gather information from him about his experiences, and it was a wonderful experience, the talks we had about the early days, especially about the sacrifice that they made. They didn't have hot water the first 7 years they were married. They were constantly able to use things, that anyone else in our period of time would have thrown away or considered of no value. And he made whole businesses around a bucket of paint and a paintbrush, or the most limited resources. And I really respect that whole generation for that. We had a wonderful generation that laid the foundation for Myrtle Beach. They were colorful characters, they worked hard, and it was a great place to live as a child.
Your mom, I'm sure, has a vivid recollection of so much of what happened over the years with she and her husband and yourself really growing the Gay Dolphin.
She should be here today. He is a wonderful person. Everybody knows Mother. Thinks she's the greatest woman that ever lived. And they had, every year was a very intense package, very intense group of experiences.
We'll have to get her in. I hope that's an introduction, a good vehicle for us to get her in.
She'd make a great guest.
The photo of your dad here after Hurricane Hazel, I think it was the day after. Can you talk real quick about that and the impact that had on your family? The store was built in 45, Hazel hit in 54. How did that impact?
We were told the storm was coming, and it started out with a misting rain, and Dad decided to pull the merchandise out of the store when the reports came in that it was going to be bad. We had an old Ford flatbed truck, and he and I and a couple boys, we unloaded everything we could, get it out of the store, and took it into an old warehouse downtown. The later we stayed up until 12 o'clock at night, the more damage was done, and finally the walls were breached, I think. And we sat out the night in the old school building, the old elementary school building, as did most of the people in Myrtle Beach. And the picture shows him on the beach about 5 in the morning, picking up the timbers from the store. And he would eventually saw off the ends and use them in the floor of the first basement. There was a big hole left where the storm washed out all the sand in front of the store. And rather than haul in new sand, he used swimming pool paint and framed in concrete block and painted the block with swimming pool paint to keep the water from seeping through, and developed a well system to keep the water from forcing the block out of the ground, and use those tiny or those short pieces of wood to use for a floor base for the floor above it.
And your father oversaw all this. Very ingenious.
He was a great architect and engineer. He was an interesting guy. He had a lot of skill.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
He made the building work through corridors of view. He understood that people wouldn't walk up a full flight of stairs, so the store is composed of half levels. And each half level has a clear corridor view of some type of objective, something that would draw people up or down to get traffic flow.
Wow. Well, I hate to sit here and admit, Buzz, I have never visited the gate often. There may be, I'm sure there are not many viewers who haven't visited, but for some of the viewers in the PD or southeastern North Carolina, or even viewers here in Horry County who may not have visited the store, can you take a second to give us a feel of today, the current gate often, and maybe some of the differences from the past? Where is it located exactly, and then what's somebody going to see the first time they walk in?
We are located between 9th Avenue North and 11th Avenue North, just south of the Pavilion Amusement Park. We are on the beach there, on the between Ocean Boulevard and the boardwalk, and it's a big old store, 35,000 square feet. We've got an enormous variety of things, trying to appeal to every market we've been able to identify that comes to Myrtle Beach, and some of it's decor. We have a large, probably the best key to our operation are our shelves. It's better than anywhere else I've seen. And got a lot of jewelry, you name it. We try to have something new every year. And we find that there's always something out there. A guy from Africa that's bringing in African artifacts, or somewhere we'll find something.
So for someone, you said that since they're half sets of a flight of stairs traveling, and as someone goes up, there's always going to be something to grab their attention.
As you come in the store, we have a lot of items that would be trendy. This year, the yo-yo ball, the liquid ball that has a rubber casing, and every kid in America's got one now. And
really?
That would be the hot item this year, and that's where that would go. We've got an Elvis section there and a Betty Boop section, and more whimsical type thing. Mm-hmm. You go down a half level and you come to our jewelry operation, or upper half level. There's the T-shirts. Above the T-shirts, we've got a old Native American section, and Dan Eaglefeather, a Native American from West Virginia, has native crafts of all kinds. He's very active in the Indian political powwows, and has found a lot of people all over America that continue to do Indian crafts, and he's got a great selection of handmade Indian art. As you go down from the jewelry level, you'll find a very complete section of Egyptian artifacts, and then a garden section. And I've tried to use Southern living as a model for sections in the store that kind of fit Southern lifestyles down here. And as you go back, there's a good deal of decor. There's the baby boomers that bought big houses. And right now, the tropical look is big. We've got a lot of stuff that would fit in with a Tommy Bahama or Hemingway look in Thomasville furniture, or African safari is big. And our niche, where we really do well, is in less expensive or high value. We try to have a good value for the money, and it isn't. We don't have a great deal of real expensive merchandise, but we do have. I find something that's real exceptional. If it's $3,000, we buy it, and it might be a set of steer horn furniture, old cow horns with beautiful cowhides, and surprisingly, all that stuff seems to sell every year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Folks come in and drop $3,000.
They do.
Not on a regular basis, but it does happen every week. Wow, congrats! That's fantastic. Well, I will have to get in there. I think you've given viewers a real reason to get down there. Who works with you in selecting merchandise, Buzz?
Well, my son and mother buy the jewelry, and I buy pretty much the majority of the rest of the merchandise. Hank buys some knives, my son. And as time goes on, we'll probably develop other people that buy more merchandise. But the main merchandise is handled by Secretary Gail Hudson. And we depend on me right now to travel and find the stuff.
How exciting, Buzz. That must be thrilling, traveling around. Do you travel out of the States often to find stuff?
We do, but it's kind of my social life. I go to these gift shows, and you see the same people there every year. For 50 years, I haven't missed any of the gift shows. And I would always go with Dad from the time I was 4 to all the shows. And all these same people are there. The people that own their companies will be at the shows. And it's a great continuous relationship. We share a lot of the same experiences. And they are always educating me to merchandise it sells and to new things that are happening, new places that stuff comes from.
How exciting, Buzz. That must be thrilling to see many of those folks over the same people over a 50-year period.
I've really enjoyed it, and there's some wonderful people in our industry.
Mm-hmm. How about contact with customers over the years? Have you been able to maintain contact? You must see many of the folks coming back year after year after year.
Dad had an old guest house, the first house I think that was built on the beach in Myrtle Beach. It was Edward Burris, the Burris and Chapin's honeymoon cottage. And we had a lot of guests that stayed there, and those people we've maintained relationships with all these years. And then we do have people that shop with us every year. In fact, almost everybody that comes in the store, 90% of them, I have come back every year for very long periods of time.
Amazing.
And they're fun. They enjoy the store. They know what's going to be there. They enjoy us.
Would your mother ever think of living anywhere else other than...
We're going to experiment with that a little. I'm going to try to build a place down at Merle's Inlet, and we're going to have a place for her there.
That aspect of living and working in an amusement park atmosphere and an entertainment free show atmosphere, nothing like it. Although you see folks when you travel to those gift shows that live at some level in a similar atmosphere or work around that.
Less so now. As my generation, they have suburban lifestyles. They play golf and fish and do other stuff that carries them further away. You don't see as much of it, but I knew a lot of people that did live a lifestyle like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about changes in the Ocean Boulevard area? A lot of things going on. Folks in the PD in southeastern North Carolina may not understand the impact of many of the changes occurring along Ocean Boulevard. Some of those have impacted your business. I guess all of them at some level impact your business and some of the other Ocean Boulevard business. Can you share with the viewers real quick some of the changes going on currently?
Well, the Boulevard's always been very cyclical. When something like Broadway to Beach would come in for a short period of time, it would take some of the traffic. Traffic is building dramatically and has been over the last 5 years. Every year it's been better and better and better, and we're at a real peak with a real upscale crowd again, very attractive crowd, and it is a good value. Everything there is a very good value, and it makes sense that they would be back. We are in the process of experimenting with Ocean Boulevard, and they tried mass transit, which I feel like was a failure. It probably delivers like 0.1% of people we were delivering in with vehicles. And one thing I notice in those vehicles is that we have 3, 4, 5 people in a car, and they're 50% families. They are actually going somewhere. Very often, someone is dropping out 2 or 3 members of the family into our area. So it's very much like transit. In fact, each car delivers as many people as one bus does. Each car every 3 seconds delivers as many people as the bus does every 30 minutes. And unfortunately, the buses have not been able to keep a schedule. They are often an hour and 45 minutes in between each other, which I think most people will be too impatient to wait for. But as big a handicap as that has been, we still are seeing people make extreme efforts to get there. I had 4 girls last night, and it took them an hour and 45 minutes to get a short distance from their motel because all the avenues now are backed up with traffic, since there's only 2 lanes to get into, and everybody wants to come to Ocean Boulevard, where they can see the water and see the rides. Almost everybody at some point is going to want to see the waterfront on a beach. That's the strongest magnet. Mm-hmm. And they have been, they're in gridlock. They've been walled out by other people that want to go down there. Before we had a functioning system. Now this has hurt us, but I'm sure that in the wisdom of the city council that they'll get rid of this soon. They're going to see that this is a disaster. And it has been for business. I think Ripley's was 40% down last week. And it's the only, there are other factors that probably contributed to it, but this is by far the largest. And I'm going to show the city council those numbers and try to work with them to see if we can't come up with a better plan. But other changes that we're making down there, there's going to be terracotta tile in place of the concrete sidewalks. We'll have some landscaping, and David Seebach at the Myrtle Beach Redevelopment Committee has a lot of strong ideas, good ideas that will beautify the area. And I'm trying to put up a new facade on our arcade this year, the first half of it, so that we can start that off, kick it off.
Wow. You won't believe it. We have less than a minute. We've been here 25 plus minutes, able to share with viewers so many of the aspects of growing up in the Gay-Dolphin community, and to think about all the benefits that have been derived in the community from the All's presence. If you weren't currently overseeing the Gay-Dolphin, what do you think you'd be doing, Buz?
I might be a missionary. I might choose to have a retail operation out on the highway. I've often thought about what I would do in a second life if I retire, but and I think that there's a lot of things that need to be done in America. That we had a great generation before us that contributed a lot, and I feel like it's probably my time in life to contribute a little bit to our society.
When he thinks of great generations in front of us, obviously his mother and father are at the top of that, and many other generations and many other persons that have helped make the Myrtle Beach community such a strong community. We hope to get his mother in very soon. Buz, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg. It's a great pleasure.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Buz Plyler, his mother, his father, and the Gay-Dolphin Gift Cove for making today's Carolina People so special.